Welcome to another episode of Commercial Property Roadshow. You're here with Helen Tarrant, and today I'm actually going to talk about Robina, right? So Robina is a property that if you haven't done the beginning of this series, then I encourage you to look for the one that was posted at the beginning of this week, and we talked about the commercial property strategies. So that is the video you need to watch, because that talks about the 3 different strategies and then mixed in some other different types of commercial properties that are for you. Now, you're going to identify, as I go through different parts of this series, it's a 4-part series. The first one is about the general view of the commercial property space and the different strategies around it. The second one today we're going to cover set and forget type of properties and the cash flow component of the properties as well for that property for a deal. And this is just a starter property. And then next week I'm going to be covering off slightly undervalued uplift properties, and then I'm going to be covering off properties that have your uplift full refurbished properties. So there will be videos as we're going to go and inspect all these properties, so you'll get a combination of beginning to end all of this. So the most important thing for you at the moment is to identify what is the right strategy for you. But of course, always reach out to us. Don't feel like you're stuck there by yourself, because strategies change from one property to the next. So let's go. I'm going to show you a little bit more about the property itself, and then I'm going to go to an inspection, and then I'm going to show you the numbers on this. So I'm just going to share this. So this is my screen here with the information memorandum when we start out on a commercial property. So this is property in Robina. It's in the Space Building, quite unique in that area. It's the ground floor, and we've got an allied health tenant in there. So they do NDIS, children therapies, very, very popular in this area. Just generally at the moment, that is a booming, growing industry. So here it's called Inspiring Choices for Kids, 130 square meters lettable area. It's got outgoings. The tenants obviously pay the outgoings. This property is under contract currently with one of our clients for $52,000 of net rent. So this is going to be important when we do the figures a bit later. So then it's got 3 car spaces, and I just want to show you some photos of the property. But of course, we're going to do an inspection, so you get to see what the property really looks like inside. Lovely outside, and I like it. It's ground floor, because always when you re-tenant, allied health, medical, government tenant, like ground floor office spaces. Car park right at the front. We've got your lovely inside, just simple layout of this property as well. 3-year lease with a health practitioner. So interesting, new type of fit out, new type of therapy. So we've got this therapy for the kids, and then we've got the workspace. You can see sort of residential outlook of there. So just some simple things, and then you've got the floor plan. We've got the reception area, we've got the parking at the front, play area, waiting area, office space. If you need to relay out this property, it's relatively simple as well. And of course, there is already amenities in the building, so you don't have to worry about that. So we've got a little cupboard space there as well, but there's sort of a kitchenette as well. So it's well designed, well laid out, and until our tax is not applicable. Start at 1st of October 2021, so you still have a bit over your a bit more than 2.5 years to go. Here's your outgoings. There's a bit over 10,850 for your outgoings, and this is just a bit of an interaction map about special purpose, special development areas about that. We know that Gold Coast is a growing area. We know that the area is constantly changing, and there's more and more families settled there, so there's more and more of need for those kind of therapy and services. So let's go now to inspection, so you get to see what the property is like. So this is a quick snapshot of what the layout and what the inside of it is. So when you sort of go from this to the next, that's what you're looking for moving forward as well. So then I'm going to show you the numbers after this. So now that you've done the inspection, so you see what the property is like, I'm going to share with you the little spreadsheet. So this is what we always do for our clients. Just go sort of spreadsheet things out a little bit, and then you understand what's coming into the property, what's going out of the property. It just gives you a bit of a big picture sort of goal. Have a look at it. So we've got the location here. It's Robina. We know what the tenant is. We know what the 3-year lease is. We know it's got 2 years and 9 months to go. Tenant pays 100% of the outgoings. This is through verifying the lease and checking the lease. So no leases are levies, council, water, and of course we're going to look at what's also part of the management fee as well. So we're going to look at that. We've got $52,000 as the net rent, and we're looking at what happens if the yields change. So at the moment, it's really very hard to get at 8% unless you're rural. So in this market, in anything like this at the moment, it is really about around that 6% to 5.5% mark is where we're realistically when we're in metro areas. So in metro areas, I look at somewhere between 5 to 6%. In regional, I'm looking at 7 to 8%. So here I'd probably be looking at the 6% here. And what we see here is we just divide that by 6 and we divide that by 5. So that changes the layout, the purchase price of the property and the value of the property. So at the moment, based on the net rent of $52,000 and the purchase price, the yield on this property is 6.5%. So we're doing well because we're already sitting above market. Now, this yield compression here we talk about is what happens, say, in 12, 24, or 36 months, so in 3 years' time, or while the tenant's still there. There is a bit of a yield compression as in the market growth. Market starts to grow, the return starts to shrink, and so the value starts to go up in the property. Let's say that 6%. That $666,000 happened in the space of, say, 2 years. So what we'll see in that fact is we'll see this is this. We minus it by the 800,000, and we've got that's how much growth we will have over 2 years. And what we'll get is we'll take that, we amortize it over the 2-year period, and it's each year you get about $33,000 in growth. So that's your capital growth here, right, on the property. Now, when we're looking at the net yield, we have the net rent, we need to look at what your mortgage interest is. And most of the time, because we're doing it on a few different things, this is a lease stock loan where it's not dependent on you to service the loan, the bank's mortgage is actually dependent on the tenant paying rent and the solidarity of the tenant. In that case, the LVR is usually 65%. So you need to come up with a 35% deposit. But if you were doing a low doc loan or full doc loan, that can go anywhere from 70 to 80%. So it may vary, and these figures vary individually to your circumstances. I'm just putting this in so that you know. So we know what the interest rate is for a lease doc at the moment is 2.5%. So what we're going to try to calculate here is we know that the interest paid is going to be about $7,000. So that's basically it's, let's look at this, the purchase price, which is, so let me just make sure that's correct there. So we base out purchase price times that price, that times it there. So it's about $20,000. So your $52,000 is your net rent. You take out your mortgage, so that's interest payment, interest on mortgage. That's $20,000. You end up with your positive cash flow of $32,000. So that's how much cash flow you're going to get. Stamp duties and legals are allowed for 5%, which is $40,000 on top of the purchase price. So your overall, your overall ROI for this property, when you're looking at it, is $32,000 in cash flow. So that's here, $32,000 in cash flow. I'll highlight that into red. And this is your growth area over. If the yield was going to compress and it's going to change over time, you're going to also pick up $33,000 on the back end. So the ROI on this property is that, and when we look at that, we're going to have that this one here, divided by the purchase price, gives us about a 4% in terms of increase, in terms of growth. So that's a 4% growth there. So you're going to get $32,000 in positive cash flow and 4% growth in the back end of this property. So if you are looking for someone to help you through your journey, and if you're looking for this kind of set and forget where you're going to be clearing $32,000 in one go, and you're looking to supplement the income, or you're looking to really grow your portfolio, $32,000 can help you, look at it with growth. If you look at it growth wise, in a couple of years, you get $62,000. If you saved your deposit, is $62,000, $64,000 over 2 years, plus you've got your $60,000 growth. You could have over $100,000 to actually start to buy another smaller property in about 2 years from this property. Not with you saving. With you saving on top of that, you can be buying another property in a very short space of time. That's you purely looking at a set and forget type of property. Now, on something like this and the amount of deposit you're putting into something, even though it's 35%, your cash on cash return is probably about 10% or so. So really, this is what set and forget is about delivering cash flow from day one. So you have to find a good, solid tenanted property. You have to vet that property like we do through our due diligence. You then have to look at what the growth potential of that property is, what's the cash flow potential, what's your overall ROI. So you need to know if that is going to work for you, and then you can continue to go to work, collect the income, and start building your portfolio. And that's how easy it is with set and forget type of properties. There's a huge amount of competition in the market. Not all set and forget properties are made the same. Areas change, tenants change, locations change. Fair market value often varies, and you've got to look at whether rents are totally inflated or not. So moving forward, if you're looking for someone to help you build a portfolio, you're looking for someone to really guide you through that process or show you how strategy 1, 2, 3, and 4 will work for you overall, then reach out to me, helentarrant.com, and I look forward to helping you in your commercial property journey. Until then, and before we speak, keep hunting, keep learning, and truly commercial property can change your life and create financial freedom for you much faster than any other strategy right now in this market. Bye for now.